I've met many clones in my time, but never one like you.
You're a Generation 1.
You haven't removed your chips?
You're in direct violation of Order 66.
Intruders confirmed on the Jedi cruiser. Notify the Empire.
The Bad Batch, Episode 7, Battle Scars. Probably outside of the premiere episode, probably the best episode we've gotten to this point. It was intense, it was emotional, Rex came back, which it's always great to see Rex, and you know, for the last 3 episodes, it's very much followed, said this a few different times, very much followed the Mandalorian style episode kind of script, where they've got a very specific thing they need to go do, they go do it, they run into somebody that they know, and they get a mission accomplished, episode over, done. Very simple, very productive, especially this specific episode, because Wrecker's been having issues with his chip. He keeps bonking his head, and he's like, kept saying it. This dude was going to be a really, really big problem if for some reason the chip decided to kick in all the way, and we saw that happen this episode, and it got really, really, really intense. You know, I don't necessarily feel like the Bad Batch has the most positive ending by the end of this show, but I did not expect Wrecker or any of the other Bad Batch members to die in this episode. The intensity did heighten a lot, especially during the Omega moments, because we've seen Wrecker and Omega start bonding a lot more, and the fact that Omega had a blaster pointed at him and was like ready to pull, she was in the process of pulling the trigger before Rex came in and kind of like stunned him, which thank you for having the stun mode on your blaster, because Wrecker is a huge, huge problem. But the moment that it even became a tease that Omega could potentially take out Wrecker, like that is intense. That is high drama right there. And again, that would have had a massive impact on Omega, because we still have a lot to learn about this little girl. She's very, very observant, as we saw with the moment with Rex, where she was just able to look at him in the face and be like, you're an OG, you're an original, you're phase 1 clone, just by like marks on his face. She is incredible. The slow burn with her has been really interesting so far, just because it's still kind of a mystery. Is she more than just an enhanced clone? Does she have any kind of force ability? I've kind of backed off the idea of her having force abilities, but again, she just has this like intuition, this ability to kind of spot people, notice things about them, learn things like that just without any issue. And it's going to be really interesting to see kind of how her story gets revealed and how it goes. We're almost at the midway point of the season. I feel like things are really going to start picking up even more. I feel like this episode is the one that's going to kind of skyrocket us into kind of pushing this forward story really hard, because it's been a few episodes that we've seen anything with the Empire. It's been a few episodes that we've seen anything with Crosshair. And you know, now that the Bad Batch has their chips removed, are they going to be able to apprehend and control Crosshair and get his removed? Or is it going to turn into a situation where they're going to have to take him out, or he's going to take one of them? I hope no one has to die, but I feel like that's inevitable with a series like this in the time zone that we're in, just because of the way this is going to play out. But I'm hopeful that they could get their hands on Crosshair, bring him in, get the chip removed, and everything could be back to normal, and our Bad Batch could be back together, not having to worry about killing their bros and doing this and doing that and having fights with each other, because that shit sucks and it's intense and it's emotional, and none of us want that. But this is one of those episodes that definitely made a lot of sense, and my initial thought at the end of episode 6 was that it was Bail Organa, but it made a ton of sense that it was Rex, because we're having the chip issue, and Rex had his chip removed with the help of Ahsoka, and that was the main focus, was getting Wrecker's chip removed. And obviously none of the other Bad Batch members outside of Crosshair have shown any signs of their chip working or functioning, but still, the moment that Rex found out that they still had their chips was really intense. He went to go put his hand on his blaster. He's like, you guys have no idea what this does. He's experienced it, he's been through it, he knows how intense it is when that chip, you can't control it. And we saw it even in the episode with Wrecker, where he was trying to, like, he didn't want to hurt Omega, but he even said, he's like, I had no control of it. And that's just, like, again, that just takes things to a whole different level. And the fact that their chips are removed, it's great. It'll be fun and interesting to see kind of where they go from here. But the episode wrapped up with some scouts who kind of run the planet that they were on. And I did see that it was a Cal Kestis, that's one of the locations where I believe we went to in Fallen Order. I'm terrible with remembering planet names, so leave them comments below and kind of confirm that. I haven't looked it up yet. Probably should have done a little bit of research before talking about it. But regardless, some scouts were like, yeah, call it into the Empire. they're on a Jedi cruiser, let's go handle this. So I feel like the Empire is going to get brought back in. Obviously, Tarkin knows all about the Bad Batch. They auditioned for him, and yeah, I feel like this is just going to start getting wild and crazy because, again, we're seeing the birth of the Empire, which is fantastic. We're seeing the birth of the Rebellion, which is also really, really awesome to see. Obviously, we still have Fennec out there who is also hunting Omega for, we assume that it's for Kamino, and it'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out and possibly if she's working for someone else. But I think it's pretty clear that Kamino wants to get Omega back and bring her back to Kamino and have that whole situation sorted out. It's been a minute, obviously, but it feels like we're getting a little bit of tension between the Empire and Kamino. It feels like some stuff's going to kind of explode there. But again, this was a fantastic episode. I love the interaction with Rex and the Bad Batch. You know, they got history, obviously, and they dabbled a little bit. They talked about the whole situation with Kanan and him being able to get away, but the general didn't make it through. So I'm wondering if we'll even see Kanan again, because we got Saw Gerrera stuff. I wonder if he's going to pop back up. There's so many seeds that have been planted so early in this season of the Bad Batch. I'm very, very interested to see what else kind of grows from those moments and see who else we get. I have a feeling we're not going to see the Martez sisters again. I don't think we're going to see Rex again. I think they kind of serve their roles and their purposes within this story, kind of like we did with the Mandalorian, and like so we had like the Ahsoka episode and then we didn't see her again. Serve their purpose, and we're going to move forward and kind of keep plowing forward. And I feel like the intensity and everything's going to get heightened a lot because we're at the halfway point. We've gotten a lot of building. We got a lot of situations that have kind of creeped up. It's time to bring the Empire back into it, Crosshair back into it, and all the other players that we've seen. But yeah, outside of the premiere, I think this was probably the best episode. The intensity was high, the emotion was high, the action, like every episode's had a lot of action, but just seeing Wrecker just kind of go through and just kind of wreck his bros was tough to see. He was able to handle them pretty easily if it wasn't for Rex and the blaster and the stun. You know, who knows where that would have gone and what he would have done and how far he would have gone. He probably would have killed them all because he doesn't have control of it. So yeah, fantastic episode. Loved it very much. Leave your comments down below. What did you guys think of episode 7 of The Bad Batch? See you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.